Well, hey, everybody, what's going on? Oh, my God. The second we turn on the shit...
Then the cats start fighting.
Then the cat... No, she's in the litter box, like, making all that noise. So, yeah, Tom had to go in there and comment about my boob window.
Yeah.
And then Zach says, is that like a glory hole for tits where people pass through $5 and then reach in and grab them?
No.
I hope not.
No, the boob window. This is the boob window. It's like
you'd have to give me a lot more than $5
like
to be able to, like, reach in there and do that.
That's the boob window.
You know? Maybe if you gave me, like, $100 or $500.
$100 just for a feel? No, that's a little too much, I think, huh?
Well, I'm offended.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm trying to think of the market value and how many fucking customers we can get in the door. I'll be back there fucking selling tickets.
Of course you will. Because you would totally do that. You don't care if dudes group me.
Well, I'm like, well,
as long as you're getting paid.
At 30 a piece, we'd probably get more of them. We'd probably end up making...
All right.
I'm trying to see dollar signs.
I don't know. It depends.
The inner pimp in me starts coming out.
The inner pimp.
Yeah, that inner pimp. Like going, well, I don't know what the boob market is today. We got to get some traffic through here.
He's gonna pimp me out.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to mannequins tonight, so it's like I don't really want most of those motherfuckers anywhere near me.
I'm ready.
You're ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. If I got a fight or anything, I'm ready.
I mean, hope not. We know some people that are going tonight, so we'll have friendly people there.
Dave will be there.
Yeah, Dave will be there.
Yeah.
So Danny Rolling said, do any goths still wear those all black colored contacts? If not, that shit needs to make a comeback.
No, they're around.
Yeah, I haven't seen any in a while, but yeah, I think they're still around. People still wear them. I don't have any. They look cool though. Yeah, they kind of do.
Depends on the event. That's special event shit.
Yeah, usually. Most people will do it for like a special event if it's like, the vampire ball or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's when you go in full drag.
Yeah,
full
we're just like, tonight
drag.
is just kind of like, we're going to mannequin, so I'm doing the corset and stuff, but I'm not getting like super, super fancy. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Yarrett says, your window is definitely worth a cool $1 million tax-free. Thank you very much, See, that's what you got to do.
That's what he's simping. He's simping.
That's okay. We like that.
Trying to get some shit for free, man. Fucking just like on fucking StreamMate. The more they talk, the more free shit they're trying to get.
Everybody trying to get shit for free on there, man. You really gotta watch. You really gotta watch.
The dudes that don't say anything, they just fucking bam, go private. Money starts coming your way. That dude's all about fucking. Those are the real players.
Remember that thing we had the other day where this guy came on and all he said was, "I have a very specific fantasy." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, tell me what it is."
It sounded hokey as shit.
Well, yeah, we did it though.
Yeah, we did it anyway.
It wasn't that weird.
I had to pretend I was like some tribal dude who had fucking
I was a queen, right? And you were a tribal dude that had captured me.
Yeah, like the queen of the down Wonder Woman type.
Right, like the Amazons or something.
Amazons and shit.
And like you were gonna kill all of my handmaidens
if you didn't do what I said.
If I didn't do what you said.
Yeah.
Right.
That went on for about 20 minutes?
Yeah.
15
we
minutes.
And we just had to like make it up like as we went along.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah. And I think he paid $6.99 a minute, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was exclusive.
Yeah. Right. Was it exclusive?
I think
it might have been exclusive. So $7.99.
No, I think ours is private is $5.99 and exclusive is $6.99. I think.
Oh, it is. I think it's $1 more than that. I'd go back and look.
Yeah.
We'll check the price.
I mean, I was the one that changed it, so I'm pretty sure that I remember what it is.
Okay.
Danny Rolling said the chesticle credit card swipe. Yeah, that's right. Just whoosh, just going in there. Sebastian says, I have $7.56 if that will do. I mean,
that's per minute, man.
I mean, hey, that's better than nothing. Zach says, Tom, how do you look with those goggles actually on?
They look good. Hold on.
Let's find out.
Yeah, I wear them.
Yeah, there you go. You look like you're about to do Death Race 2000.
I'm fucking like one of the war boys and shit. Fucking Fury Road.
Witness me.
Yeah. Witness! I actually don't wear these on motorcycles, though.
No.
No, I wear these weed eating.
Do you really? I've never seen you wear
when I'm weed eating, I wear these.
You're doing the weed eating. That's really funny. I don't blame you, though, because like shit flies in your eyes, you know. Zach says, also, have you guys ever heard of that couples game where one writes dirty words on the other person's back and they have to guess what it is? No, I have never heard of that game. I've never heard of that game. Thank you very much, Ian England. Be careful sitting next to that firecracker, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff's hot, man. I got my fucking hands ready for that shit. That shit right there.
He's just gonna.
She smells good too.
Yeah.
She's got that damn Jimmy Choo
He bought me some Jimmy Choo perfume.
Man, it just smells so good.
Yeah.
Man.
It does smell really good.
Yeah, she wasn't cheap either.
It was not. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice though.
It's kind of vanilla flavored with.
It's vanilla, jasmine, mandarin orange.
Yeah.
And 2 other things.
Yeah. It's kind of like a sweeter version of fucking Obsession. It kind of reminded me of it, and it was funny because it was the first one I picked.
Pretty much, yeah. Like we went and looked around.
That bottle, and I didn't know who Jimmy Choo was or anything. I just had a feeling about that one, and smelled it, and I go, "That's it, right there. That's the fragrance for gin."
Yeah,
which is at $130 a bottle.
It is, yeah.
But you know,
but you don't have to use that much.
You don't have to use that much. No.
I just usually do one spray, and it like lasts for a long time.
Yeah, and the sales girl was like, "Well, there's a new version of that out, you know."
Yeah, because this one's called "I Want Chew."
I Want Chew, yeah.
Yeah.
She says a new version of it. I smelled that. And I was like, no.
I mean, that one was good too, but the first one, I liked the first one better.
Yeah.
Because we messed around with some. Because I'm like, look, I don't usually, I'm a broke ass person. And so I would usually just buy like cheap ass. And we went to like not Bed Bath and Beyond. What the fuck am I talking about? Bath and Body Works, close.
Got some cheap shit there.
And like smelled some stuff in there. And some of that stuff smells good. But Tom's like, you need some good stuff. He's like, you don't really have any nice perfume. And and I was like, well, I don't even know what to pick. And I have certain things that I like. But he's like, you need a signature fragrance.
Yeah.
Because your signature fragrance is Obsession, like Obsession for Men. Yeah. That's the smell that I always associate with.
That's the gayest name of all times when you think about. I got an Obsession for Men.
You do though.
Yeah. Fucking Zach is like, oh yeah, me too, me too.
Right.
No, but I just that Men's Obsession. I've always liked it.
I love that
all the way
smell.
back in the '90s. It's a '90s fragrance,
It is, yeah.
But a cologne,
But I associate it with you because that's what you always wore it like when I met you, and it's just kind of like, and it just works on you really well.
Yeah, and it just permeates everything.
Yeah, like all your clothes smelled like that. So it always just like whenever I smell it, like I'm always like, oh, it's Tom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
what the good thing about it is that it's not an old man smell. So it doesn't smell like fucking Old Spice or some shit. Even though I smelled some of that new Old Spice, this cheap shit. I smelled it recently and it actually smells pretty good. Some of the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean some of it does smell good.
It's cheap, but it smells. The problem is with cheap fragrances, they don't last.
Yeah, you got to use more.
You got to use a lot of it. They don't last. Yeah, you got to be putting it on all day. But more expensive stuff. I mean, over time, it just permeates all your fucking clothes. You don't smell it, but other people do.
Well, yeah, it's like I put one spritz on like last night, and then like this morning, you were like, "Ooh, you smell good."
Yes, yeah. I was aroused. It smells fucking good, man. Let me tell you women something. Y'all probably know this, right?
Yeah, we probably do.
But I'm just gonna fucking mansplain.
Okay, Tomsplain.
A man will remember the way you smell, and he doesn't even realize it.
Smell is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize.
I'll be just fucking walking just through a mall or in a club, and all of a sudden catch a whiff of some chick's fragrance, and I will immediately have flashes of having sex with some chick back in the 80s, or 90s, girlfriend type shit. It's not what do you call it? And I would have forgotten all about her.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's what do you call it? It's automatic, not automatic. It's when you have like a fucking your reflexes. It's what do you call it?
Involuntary.
Involuntary.
Yeah.
You get old, you forget words.
Yeah.
You just have an involuntary response. All these memories come back.
Yeah.
And they're sexual.
Memory and scent are very closely linked.
Right. And I'll fucking have a flashback and shit, and I see that girl's face. I'll remember her name, that smell, fucking what happened on that day. Just it'll all come back just because that one scent.
Yeah, even though you didn't like.
Never thought of her in fucking 20-something years.
Right.
And really, she wasn't that important. But that smell somehow gets
it just triggers it. Yeah.
So that's a fucking important weapon in a fucking woman's arsenal, trying to control these motherfuckers.
Because that's what
you smell like. It's fucking very important. He won't forget that smell.
Yeah.
It's animal.
And I feel like I didn't really usually wear a lot of perfume or anything before.
Yeah, I didn't associate her with any kind of smell.
Well, yeah, because usually what I would do, because like I said, I was broke ass, so I'd have like this subscription service, and sometimes they would send me different scents, and if I liked them, I'd be like, oh, I'd use that for like a few months until it was gone, and then like I'd get another one, but I wasn't like super invested in any of them.
Yeah,
you know? I was just like, this is okay.
They were okay stuff. They weren't super high quality.
Right.
That shit that you got on now, man, that shit fucking dominates.
Yeah.
I mean, she gets in bed with that shit and it hits me, and I'm just like. Oh, she's there, you know what I mean? I fucking start growling. Start fucking bricking up.
He really
roll
likes it.
over.
He does.
Give it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. It's
Give
very fun.
that shit up.
Oh, Tom, you're adorable. But yeah, it does smell really, really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we found one because, like I said, I didn't really, I don't really keep up with all the perfumes and stuff like that. So I was just kind of like, we were just like trying out all the samplers, and I'm like, some of these are nice, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, I don't love it. But this one, we were both like, we sprayed it and we were like, oh yeah, that's it.
The Tom and Jenny seal of approval goes. The Jimmy Choo, I want Choo.
I want Choo. It comes in like a big red sparkly box.
Choo is spelled
CHOO. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, he's pretty famous. That's a pretty
Jimmy
famous
designer
house or whatever.
Good,
yeah, it does smell really good. I can't remember what the other two scents are, and it's a vanilla base, and then it's got mandarin orange, and it's got jasmine, and then it's got another flower and another fruit.
Yeah.
Is it peach?
Yeah, it had peach in it.
Maybe it's peach, and then I can't remember what the other flower is. And then it has another flower, but I can't remember what. Orchid? No. Violet? No. I'll remember, like, later on. I can't remember. But yeah, it smells really good. It's because I don't like, I kind of like more musky scents. I don't like overly floral. I don't like super sweet. I do kind of like vanilla or kind of candy flavor, but not if it's too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tend to like more musky or like leathery scents or something like that. So this one, but this one is good because it's like it has flower and it has fruit and stuff like that in it, but the way that they put them together,
you can't really smell it.
Right, you can't really tell like there's not one dominating.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's vanilla, or oh, that's, you can smell it if you know that it's in there, but if you don't, then
you don't know what it is.
It's its own smell, which
it's just kind of a warm smell. Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, that's warm. Exactly what it is. Yeah,
warm and comforting, but it's also kind of like pushes a man to do things that he may not want to do.
So you don't want to. So you don't want to.
Might be some fucking explicit sexual shit. Yeah.
And you don't want to do that.
Who knows? That shit might be some kind of weird anal shit. You're like, I don't want it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this. I'm fucking with you people because you guys, you regulars know Jenny's always trying to fucking fantasize about all this kinky ass shit. And it's funny, we'll be on stream, mate, and these dudes are fucking asking me to do this shit. I'm like, man,
and sometimes we wonder if it's like one of you guys.
And so you know us from our other platforms.
Or is it just a coincidence that people are coming in there
wanting me to get pegged and shit? And I'm like,
they're like, so pegging?
So you don't have enough money. And those dudes were laughing though.
Yeah.
I was laughing. Well, what kind of money are you talking about? I was saying like fucking motorcycle money.
Yeah, like buy me a car money.
Buy me a fucking motorcycle.
Then maybe he'll think about it.
Says, well, you scared of that dick? I said, yeah, I'm fucking terrified of that dick. I'm fucking terrified.
I mean, at least he admitted
if you're not terrified of that dick, then fucking you need to go hang out with Zach. He's a fucking dick kamikaze.
Because I told you, it would just be me. It's not going to be like, it's not scary. And he's like, oh, that's even scarier.
She's trying to fucking weasel her way out of here. She's what they call a sneaky fucker. She's a sneaky fucker. You gotta watch her. You gotta keep your eye on her.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would never do anything against your will. I'll just try to like talk you into it.
Who looks like a superhero's goth, like a superhero's goth sidekick? Zach said that shit.
You do kind of. And I'm here for
Jeffy's
it.
you got me, Tom. I don't know what he's like. What you're talking. I'm going back reading these comments.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what they're reacting to because I said so much shit. You've ever heard of a couple? Okay,
yeah, I said that already.
Okay, yeah, you said
yeah, you're behind.
Okay, now Zach's talking about. Zach is the only man he's obsessed with.
Yeah, the only men I'm obsessed with are at the moment are Barry and Robin Gibb. Not Maurice though; he doesn't have enough hair. Yeah, poor Maurice. I get it though. I get it. Like I said, I kind of like Bee Gees. Are we gonna review Saw X? I don't know. Maybe. Honestly, I've only seen the first Saw. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. No, maybe I saw the second one. Yeah, I did see the second one, but I don't really remember that much about it.
Not really into that slash shit.
I mean, the first Saw movie is good, and like some of the other ones I heard were good. Like I know what they're, I know what happens in all of them and shit, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched all of them. I can't believe they're on the 10th one already. That's fucking crazy. Zach says, I had a bottle of this George Clooney cologne that was so good, even my mom wore it a few times. And then Camp Guy said, Hi Karate. Oh my God, I remember
that shit.
Very funny TV commercials from the 1970s for the scent. That's a regular guy puts on the scent and then he spends the whole commercial fighting off women. I remember that.
Yeah. My dad had that.
That was a thing.
Yeah, it came in a fucking black bottle.
For a moment. I know that...
two karate guys fighting. It's fucking tacky.
Fucking high karate.
Tacky as shit.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s, what was that one... what was that one sent by Prince Machiavelli or whatever? That commercial was on all the time too, but I can't remember the name of it. But there was, there's like certain, I guess there's certain fucking scents are associated with certain decades. I remember the one, didn't like Elizabeth Taylor have like white diamonds or some shit? I mean, I think they still sell that because when we were at the department store the other day, they had it. But I don't even remember what that smells like. My grandma had some. But I kind of I associate that with like a grandma scent. Although it smells good, but... it's just everyone's dream to see Tom get picked. I guess it is. Like I said, so we never know because we do get that sometimes. Like people will come in StreamMate and be like, "So pegging," and Tom will be like, "God damn it, are you like from the regular show?" It might just be that a lot of people want to see that. I don't really know. It's like hard to say. Ricky Martin was pretty hot for a guy. Yeah, he was. I remember that. Zach said, I don't think I've ever met a person who actually wore any of those Elizabeth Taylor perfumes. I don't think I have either. Like I said, my grandmother had some, but I don't know if she ever wore it. I mean, she might have just got it, like, as a present from somebody. I don't know. But that's one that's very 80s that I remember. And like I said, I don't really keep track of, like, all, like, what's the trends in the perfumes and everything like that. So I don't really know, like, which ones people... associate with old people.
I don't think anything's associated with old people anymore.
Because they're all dead.
They're all dead. Yeah.
Maybe. But like I said, we were at the department store the other day, and they do have a lot of ones that I remembered, like from my childhood. So some of them are still out there, classics. Now I remember in the 80s and 90s, everybody was into, man, what's that one? What's that cologne? Oh shit, I just totally forgot the name of it that everybody was super into. Drakkar Noir. Like you remember when everybody was wearing that?
Yeah, that shit wasn't that expensive though. That shit
It wasn't, no. Like it smelled pretty good, but I remember everybody wearing that shit.
That was like a lower, that was like a mid-price, you know what I mean? You could get that for $40 back then. In a pretty decent sized bottle.
Yeah, Jeff Yarrett said my mom used to wear white diamonds. Yeah. Camp Guy said there's one called Lauren on a girl. Very heavy rose floral scent. See, I would like that. I like rose scents also. Danny Rolling said, if someone paid you to take Tom's load in your mouth and spit it back into his face, would you actually do it? Because that would be funny as fuck to see Tom's reaction to that.
It would have to be staged. We'd have to know that,
Yeah.
It'd be part of an act.
Well, if somebody was paying, we would do that. But like I said,
this is the job, you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It's just a part of the casualties.
We'll do I don't want to say that. I said we'll do, like, pretty much anything within reason.
Yeah.
There's some shit that people come in and go, can you do this? Like, and we don't have the shit for it, you know what I mean? Because some people are, like, want real
some of the
specific
shit
stuff.
is, like, well, that takes, to do that takes about a half hour to get ready. And fucking, we don't really want to do that.
Didn't somebody want you to put your dick in a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, did try to give you the fucking vacuum cleaner.
It's like,
and I just kind of laughed it off.
It's like we're not doing.
It was one of those. See, here's the thing. There's a certain class of fucking dude that's on stream, mate, that asks you a lot of questions and tries to get you talking and tries to get you to leave and come back with something like shoes or certain, and then that motherfucker will vanish. It's just a power play.
Yeah.
He wanted me to go get the vacuum cleaner,
right,
and bring it on a camera, and then he'd check out,
and then he would leave. Yeah.
So
we're on to that game.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody's trying to get shit for free, and they're always trying to. They'll come in with a, ostensibly to be like, oh, do you guys do this, like a specific fetish or something like that?
Yeah.
And if you say, yeah, we can do that or something, then they'll try to get you to talk about it.
Yeah, and they're jerking it while they're talking about it.
Right. They just want you, because they don't want to pay, Steve. They just want you to, like, talk about it because that gets them off. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that.
So you shut that down by saying, yeah, we do that, but we'll talk about that in private.
Yeah,
And that shuts, and then the
and then they
leave.
And then they leave, which is fine because you don't want them wasting your fucking time.
They were just wasting time.
Like I said, I'm not sitting here for fucking free, motherfucker. It's like you better pay. You know what I'm saying? So it's that. Zach says, how do people work in the perfume department at a mall and not get brain damage from the fumes?
Those girls look like they're having fun. The woman that sold us that looked like a Chinese American chick, maybe Korean American, and she wasn't there first. Remember?
Yeah.
And then she came over. Who works at this table? And then she came over and she made an easy sale. And then asked me, if you have one of our credit cards, to give you what was it? 20?
I think it was 30% off. I think it was 30%
really?
off.
So I real quick did the fucking credit card thing, and they gave me a fucking MasterCard, a real MasterCard fucking credit card with a $3,000 limit.
Because your credit is good. They wouldn't give me jack shit because my credit's terrible.
No, and actually, no, my credit is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Towards the top.
Yeah.
I pay all my fucking bills.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have years and years of
bad
credit.
Right.
Because you didn't have a credit card for a long time.
Yeah, and then when I do have them, I always pretty much pay them off at the end of the month.
Right.
I'd have the whole thing paid off, mostly. Right. That's not going that way the past couple months, but I'd pay at least half of it.
Yeah. So they gave, actually when he applied for the card in the store, they actually said it was a $1,500 limit, but then when he got the card, it was actually $3,000.
They did a fucking check on me.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Oh, okay, he's one of those."
He's one of those.
Yeah, because my fucking, how they got the little credit card bar. Yeah. Mine's up near way in the green. It's
Yeah.
I forgot the number, but I'm like 10 points away from perfect.
Yeah.
And I think the fucking scale goes up to like 500.
I don't. Well,
I'm like a 475.
No, it's more than that because mine's on the low end and mine's 600 and something.
Okay, yeah.
And then mine's like fair or something.
Fair, right.
So I don't even remember what the top one is.
As long as you pay almost all the card off by the end of the month, or at the end of the month, your credits will be pretty good. If you get in trouble where you can't make a payment, like a huge payment like that, you make like half of what you normally would. It'll stay good. Your credit will stay good.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not late and you don't get behind and shit like that.
And you're making big payments.
Danny Rowling said, Hugo Boss cologne in the green box smells the best, in my opinion. I can't picture that. I know what that box looks like because I've seen it, but I can't imagine like what it smells like. I probably smelled it at some point, but yeah, I really do like that. Like that Jimmy Choo that you got me. It smells really, really good. I could smell it right now because I just sprayed it on, and so can you probably.
I smell it.
He's getting all growly. He's gonna get growly. But yeah, so what else have we got to talk about? So like I said, it was my birthday earlier this week on Tuesday, and I got to, because of my cool ass siblings, got to go to the Disney Halloween party on Tuesday night, and then we went to Epcot on Wednesday. So that was super fun. I hadn't been to Epcot since I don't know when. And they have they're still working on, because they're refurbishing a lot of stuff and adding a bunch of stuff. So some of the stuff is still like under construction or whatnot. But they have added Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know how long that's been there. All my siblings had been on it, and I was the only person that hadn't. They're like, oh my God, you have to go on it. It's amazing. So we wait. I mean, it took a while. Like, it's a long wait, but holy shit, that was a great fucking ride. That's a great fucking ride.
She said the Tron ride was good too.
Yeah, it's not quite as good as Guardians, but yeah, Tron's at Disney, and it looks super cool, especially at night because we were there at night. But I mean, we got there in the daytime. We got there at like 4:00, but then like the party started at 7, and we went on Tron, and it's just kind of like it's right next to Space Mountain. And it's all this huge big dome, and it's all like lit up blue underneath. And like it's a roller coaster. Only complaint I had about it was it's kind of short. Like you wait a while. It wasn't that long of a wait, but the ride itself is not very long. But as you know, with Space Mountain, the ride isn't that long either. Roller coasters aren't known for being super long rides. But the thing about Guardians of the Galaxy though, because the Tron one is cool because you it's a roller coaster, but it's like 2 light cycles like next to each other, and there's like a bunch of them, so you sit on it like you'd sit on a sport bike, like a motorcycle, so you're leaning forward and like with your legs behind you like that, so that kind of gives it a little bit of a different vibe. But see, the Guardians of the Galaxy one, not only is that almost completely, it's not completely in the dark, but a lot of it is in the dark, but that roller coaster not only goes forward, it also goes backward, and each 2-person section of the cars spins. So it's like, so sometimes when it'll go up and around like that, and then you'll be like spinning like that at the same time. So it's like, it's a very intense experience.
Did you announce that we were going to Mannequins?
I put on Dave's post, because Dave posted about it that he was going, and I just said on there that we were going too.
I'm gonna go ahead and post.
Okay. Maybe it'll get more people to come.
Yeah.
Zach said, "What's the weirdest dream you had lately? I'd love to write a story with dream logic." I'm trying to remember. I had a weird one the other day, but now I can't remember what it was. Most of my dreams are kind of boring, to be honest. I had this really weird dream that I was like in this city. It was kind of like New York City, but it wasn't exactly. And I was with my friend, like some girl. I don't know who the fuck she was really in real life. But it was kind of weird, and it wasn't like all that sinister or anything. But then like we got in a cab, and we were going to leave. Like we were going back over the bridge or whatever. And the car went off the bridge and into the water. And it was like really vivid, like that I was in the back seat next to this girl, and we were looking at each other like, holy shit, because we couldn't get out of the car. And like it just kept it was kind of like a Carnival of Souls, you know what I mean? Like that's what it reminded me of. And so I'm like in the car, and the water is coming up and like that, and like the water went over my head, and then I woke up. So that like freaked me the fuck out, and I couldn't get back to sleep, Camp Guy said they don't have that much room next to Space Mountain. I didn't think so either, because when we went, my sister and I went to the Halloween party at Disney last September, and they were building Tron then. So, and they'd had it cleared out, and they kind of constructed it, but I couldn't like picture what it was going to look like. So it's only been there for like less than a year, but it's pretty big. It's like a big pavilion. It's kind of cool because you can go up, and it's like all of this open, like concrete kind of area. Like you go up these like steps and like ramps and stuff, and it's just this big open area and this big dome. And then part of the ride, you're outside, so you can watch the people going around on the track, like with the lighted up light cycles. It's pretty cool. Like my brother took a bunch of pictures of it, and we got a picture of, because they take pictures on all the rides now, and my brother is a PhotoPass guy. And so he automatically gets all the pictures, they're linked to his account. So whenever there was a picture taken of us on whatever ride, whether it was Tron or the Haunted Mansion or whatever, like it would immediately like upload to his phone. So he could show them to us, and they were high res because, like I said, he's a PhotoPass guy. So that's one of his things. So he sent me the picture of me and my sister-in-law, because it was me and my sister-in-law Emily, and we were like sitting next to each other on the light cycles, and he sent us the picture that was from inside of Tron. And it's like I'm just sitting there like screaming, and my sister-in-law like has her hands all up like that. I wouldn't do that. I was like too scared to put my hands up. I'm like, I'm not letting go of the fucking handlebars on this shit. No way. No way. Pookie!
You're coming up on TV.
She's like, okay, look at that little face. Yeah.
No, she just loves any kind of attention.
Yeah. She's like, as long as you're petting me and not Bam.
Yeah. As long as I got attention and fucking Bam's not around.
Anytime.
Though.
They do.
They're playing in the morning and stuff.
But if she ever sees you, like if you're petting Bambi, Pookie will come in and just like sit and stare.
Yeah, like what? Like, what the fuck?
Why are you petting that kitty?
Yeah.
And she'll just like sit there and stare at you, and then she'll be like, and she'll turn and walk
they'll
away.
lay right down next to each other though.
They do though. They're not. Yeah, they don't, and they chase each other and kind of like smack around and stuff like that. But they're not fighting. They're just like having a. They're just. What was that all about, Poke? She's like, stop it.
She's just trying to get attention. She's trying to bite.
Why you bite?
Because it's adventure. She bites me all day long.
She's like, I like to bite you.
Yeah.
You like to bite, Poke?
It's just play biting.
Yeah. Danny Rowling says, what did you guys think of the film Phone Booth? I don't think I saw it.
Didn't see it.
I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I ever sat down and watched it. Was it good or bad or worthy of reviewing? There should be a sequel taking place in Australia because they still use phone booths. Yeah, I haven't seen a phone booth in a really long time. Matter of fact, I was somewhere. Where the fuck was I the other day? I was in a building the other day and there was payphones. It was like a little bank of payphones. I'm like, holy shit. Why are those still in here?
They probably don't work, huh?
Maybe not. I mean, I guess they're good to have around just in emergencies, like if your cell phone like breaks or some shit like that.
Don't have a cell
or
phone.
if you're a bomb.
I think even
something.
bombs have cell phones.
It was just weird because I hadn't seen one for such a long time.
The only time you see a payphone in the South is out in the parking lot, the side of the parking lot of an abandoned service station.
Yeah. It'll be out of the fucking
an abandoned one.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah, I don't really even.
Yeah.
That's why I was so surprised to see them, like, in that building because. Yeah. Well, no, I take that back. When I was at Epcot, we were waiting for my brother to get there because he had the passes, like, to get us all in. And so we were waiting out front, like, outside the gate, and there's, like, a thing of bathrooms and shit. And I'm pretty sure there was a payphone over there. Like, just one. Just for emergencies, I guess. And I was just kind of like, hey, look at that. So I thought that was pretty weird. Yeah, camp guys next to a creosote-soaked telephone pole. Yeah, and there's, you know. I think even the abandoned gas stations around here, you don't really see them. And it's weird how they disappeared so gradually that it's like I don't even remember them taking them out or anything like that. So it must have been like years and years ago that they went away.
I never even,
because no one even like really noticed that you don't see them anymore until you're around somewhere and you see one and you're like, oh my god, and you realize you haven't seen one in such a long time. And also when I was at Epcot, I was in the UK pavilion and they have fake, you know, the fake red telephone boxes in there. I don't think there's really phones in there. I didn't look, but yeah, they have those, but those are just like for atmosphere, you know what I mean? So it looks like. And I don't know if they still have those in the UK or not. Because I haven't been there in a long time. Zach said, talking about dreams. I had one the other night where I was a spy or something. That is kind of weird. Had this female colleague with me, and we were at a hotel with some really pretty swamps around it, trying to break into a museum next door to steal some Nazi artifacts or something. That's pretty awesome. You should write a story about that. Yeah, Danny Rowling said in Australia, I think they're free. Really? I mean, I guess they might as well be nowadays. It's not like, one, you'd only ever have to use it in an emergency, probably. And if you had to use it in an emergency, like, who the fuck even has change anymore? Nobody. So either they'd have to, like, let you use your debit card, or it would be free. Thank you. Lil Mova, I think that says. Okay, sorry, I'm very, very blind. Thank you very much. Became a fan because of Jenny's Flickers of Fear and been obsessed with all of y'all's videos ever since.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Working up the courage to be more active. Well, hey, welcome.
Doesn't take courage.
To the weird little family.
Yeah.
The weird little Sidetracks family. where we just kind of hang out on Friday night and drink. And we don't want to drink too much because, like I said, we're going out in a little bit. But you know,
her name's Lil Mother. I see you, baby. Cute little hair and everything.
Oh, he's checking you out.
Yeah, I checked it out. I'm gonna hook you up. Look. I'm gonna show you.
What? Are you gonna show me? Don't show the camera.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see.
I'm
Okay.
gonna hook her up with looking Lloyd. Lloyd, the white girl whisperer.
Lloyd's got enough, I think, on
enough.
his plate,
Yeah,
I think.
He's got enough.
We were trying to get
Lloyd
him
to just get you in trouble.
We were talking about him on the Wednesday show. So when I was away, because I was gone from Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday night, because I stayed with my sister, at the resort. So Tom went out to bike night in downtown Sanford on Tuesday night because, he didn't have to be home because I wasn't here. So he met a new bro. Yeah. He met a new bro. Yeah. And he texted me about it like on Wednesday when I was at the bar.
Shit. His family owns the Jamaican restaurant downtown Sanford.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting character. Very interesting character.
Yeah.
And so I renamed him as Lloyd the White Girl Whisperer. I'm going to show it to you. Oh, shit. Where's the...
Oh, you fucked it up.
No, I got it. Here it is.
You fucked it up.
Here you go.
There you go.
There, Lloyd. Me and Lloyd.
We were trying to get him to come out to Mannequins tonight, but I think he has to work. Because I've never met him in person. Well, you just met him Tuesday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We hung out all night, though. And Lloyd is 37 years old. He looks like he's 22. All right. 37. He's 5'10" and weighs about 180 pounds. And he's probably 10% body fat. And the motherfucker's got fantastic definition of shit. He's never picked up a fucking weight. Never. It's just all natural. Just amazing.
Well, there you go.
Amazing, yeah. But he wants to. He says, "Yeah, I want to get on that test. I want, he wants to get on a test. Because he's getting older. He says, I want to stay fit like this. And I said, yeah, that's the only way you're gonna do it, over time. So I was just schooling him a little bit. He wants to lift too. Put on a few more pounds. But he's working tonight. I told him we were gonna be down there. He's working. Probably working at the restaurant.
I've never eaten at that restaurant.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking of. I've eaten at Chantel's. I've eaten at what's that German one called? The Hollerbox or whatever. I've eaten at a couple other ones, but I've never eaten at that one. I think Tom was also impressed because he's married, but then he also has like all these girlfriends also. And the wife apparently knows about it. Yeah, he's married to a white girl. He's got like 4 or 5 other ones in it and one black one. I met the black one. And he went to school with that one. So he's just got one for every night of the week, pretty much?
Yeah, I was fucking impressed. I was fucking impressed as shit.
Because that's when Tom told me that, I was just kind of like, what, you getting tips on how to do that?
And I said, no, he doesn't, I just... Are you trying to adopt his nature? And I'm like, no, I already got that nature. He's just doing it. But no, I think he's separated from his wife, though.
Oh, okay.
I think. He didn't say that. I think he's separated from his wife.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think he's separated from his wife. He's dating.
Oh, well, that's a whole different situation.
But that's not how he was like a real fucking player. The way he told it to me made me see it another way. And then I reinterpreted it as he's separated from his wife. Probably.
Oh, okay. So that's a completely different situation.
But no, like a fucking player, he reinterpreted it to spin it to even make it look even fucking cooler.
Because he's like, yeah, my wife doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, right.
He's like, well, technically, I'm not really married.
Yeah. So it's probably something.
So, like I said, that's
over time.
It's not quite the same.
But no, I let that story stand. Though I like the first version of it. They get better. I let that one stand.
You like the first?
I like the first version better. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it sounds better.
Sounds better.
It sounds cooler when you say it like that. Other than, I'm just dating
I'm dating all these women.
chicks,
Yeah, and then thinking I'm separated. But that's probably what it was.
Yeah, probably.
So I just give him the credit. That was a good way of telling it to me. Okay, then, it is how you describe it. That's how I'm going to accept it. That's how I'm gonna imagine it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna accept your version of reality.
Oh shit. Zach says, by the way, there's a movie coming out about it soon. I think it'd make a good topic. The Osage tribe murders in Oklahoma in the 1920s. Yeah, isn't that the new what the hell's the name of that movie? I've seen like the trailer for it a couple of times. Yeah, that might make a good, if we can kind of time it with when the movie comes out, we might get more hits that way. Camp Guy said, I just saw a funny as hell Chef John video for Halloween. It's a ham and cheese hand and arm with a knife sticking out the top. The ham strips look like tendons in a skinned out arm and hand. Oh, I'm gonna have to see that. I'm all about all of the like Halloween themed cooking shows and baking shows and all that kind of stuff where they have to like construct cakes that look like Halloween shit and everything like that. I love those. I'm like totally obsessed with those. I watch them every year. I like the Christmas ones too, but the Halloween ones are better. Yeah, Camp Guy said he cut all of the fingers except the birdie finger when he was taste testing it, so the hand was shooting a bird at the end of the video. Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon. That's what I was thinking. Martin Scorsese that new movie. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just kind of like I'm always kind of disappointed though, because it's like sometimes they come up with these cool ass ideas. I'm like, oh my god, that would be so awesome. But then sometimes they don't have time to do it right, or like it falls apart or some shit like that, because it never looks quite as cool as I was imagining it was gonna look. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does, but a lot of times they just don't have enough time because they're rushing. So, but I still like to watch it anyway. I like those kind of things. But yeah. So we're not gonna meet the white woman whisperer tonight. That's disappointing.
No. White girl whisperer.
The white girl whisperer.
Yeah, what it was is, he's showing me all the pictures, and it's like, damn, look at all these white girls, and he goes, yeah. And I said, well, there ain't no black women. He goes, of course, there ain't enough of them. You know, he's just fucking funny, man. You know, not enough of them.
Not enough of them.
Not enough black
for
girls.
him.
Well, there's not enough black girls. You know, it's mostly white ones. So it says, damn,
fucking white
you're
ones.
You're the fucking white girl whisperer. And he goes, yeah. It's fucking funny.
Oh my god. These dudes, man. How do they keep track?
He's taming them.
I guess.
He's taming them, yeah.
Like I said, I can't imagine, because I know that it's like every dude's fantasy to like have a harem of women.
He got a harem.
That's what I'm saying. But so that's like every dude's fantasy, I guess.
Yeah, but those girls are probably dating other dudes too.
Well, no, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was that, I mean, I got one dude, and that's plenty. Like, I can't even imagine how exhausted I would be if I had to like deal with more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's absolutely not
Yeah.
anything that I would do. Because I know you make jokes all the time. Like, you were making jokes on Wednesday about if, like, after I died and you went through my email, it's like, yeah, I found all our boyfriends and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, women are kind of low effort. They don't want to put that much effort into all this.
Well, it's a lot of times it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth it. It's not worth the hassle, is what I'm saying.
Guys are kind of genetically built to try to spread seed, you know. If you leave them alone, they'll just collect a whole bunch of girlfriends. They'll just collect a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. There has to be a mechanism to stop them from doing it.
Yeah.
If you look at ancient societies that don't have any of those mechanisms, you end up with like Genghis Khan. The motherfucker had 2,000 wives, you know.
Yeah.
And impregnated most of them, evidently. He had a whole system of rotation and everything. Everybody on the planet is fucking related to Genghis Khan.
They probably all are.
Basically,
I mean,
yeah.
Like, not even that distantly.
Yeah. And, you know, even to this day in the Middle East, you know, a lot of those guys have three wives.
Even that sounds like too much work.
You go down to fucking the Mormons, the Mormon cults. Not the mainstream Mormons, but some of the breakaway cults have multiple wives. But we've seen whole fucking programs on them. Those dudes aren't players, man. They're quite the opposite. They're more like fucking boob gangsters. They're kicking all the young boys out. So they can
get like all the 14-year-olds
all the 14, and then they're trading them.
Super creepy.
Trading them like trading cards. And shit.
It's super creepy.
Yeah,
that's not a good situation.
And they'll have like 14 of them.
Yeah,
you know?
Which, like I said, sounds like too much work. Mind control cultists. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what was that documentary that was on Netflix that we saw? What was it? Be Sweet and Obey, or whatever the fuck it was called. Holy crap, that was horrifying.
But the science and the data is there. You know, women are their natural mode of operation is hypergamy. They date up and over. They want a guy who has more money than them, more status than them, looks better than them. That's what they'll tend to do. So all your average guys get ignored. They're all going for that same top 20% of the men. And if you look at all the reported statistics, those guys at the top are getting a shit ton of girlfriends. And then all the girls are reporting having sex, a lot of sex too, but then most of the guys aren't reporting having any sex. And what it is that those girls are all fucking those dudes in the dating population. You know, once they're married, it may change gears into something else. But and a lot of those guys, I've been studying it for years now. A lot of those guys at the very top, they don't get married, or if they do, it's later. Because there's just nothing in it for them. Why get married? If they got married, they wouldn't be able to screw all these girls. And it's like the best ones. You know? So,
although even if they did get married, they probably still would. So I don't know what's stopping them.
Well, it just makes it more of a hassle.
Yeah, that's true.
It's better to just stay single. So they're waiting until they're fucking 40 or 50 to ever get married.
Well, like I
when they're
said,
slipping.
But I mean, that's kind of fine because, you know, the only thing that's shitty about that, like I said, you can fuck as many people as you want. You can do that. But it's like, just don't fuck over the person that you're married, like, you know, your spouse or whatever. So it's like, if you know that you want to do that, oh, I just want to fuck everybody, then just don't get married.
Yeah.
And just let everybody know. It's like, hey, I'm fucking a bunch of people other than you. And it's like, as long as everybody's on the same page, then it's fine.
But here's the thing. Also looked at this data. These dudes that have all this money and status and all these girlfriends, the women that are chasing them, if you actually track their progress through life, they get fucked.
Well, yeah.
Because, yeah, that guy has all that money and status, but that's not going to help you.
Nope.
You're going to go spend time with him 2 or 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and he's going to dump you. Because there's a lot of girls like you, he's just going to replace you.
Well, yeah.
He's in high demand. Well, a couple hundred years ago, or in another culture, maybe 1,000 years ago, that guy would have been the kind of guy that had fucking 9 wives. That's, you know, it'd been like that. So the situation that in the Western world now with monogamy, marriage between two people, is really kind of a middle class fantasy. That's not really the standard. Through most history, it was polygamy. That was actually the standard. I mean, that goes back even to ancient Rome. Dude had as many wives as he could afford.
Pretty much.
Yep. And then the women were all about it because they'd rather be with a high status guy than some fucking beta simp. You know, he didn't have anything she wants. They ignore all the average guys are ignored. Yeah, they got it hard. People think that they're oppressors. No, the average guy is just a fucking drone. You know, he's gonna work, be alone most of the time, be passed over, and he dies. That's basically what it is. Most of them. So there's no, you know, it's women are kind of dictating the dating market. Men kind of dictate who gets married, especially the rich guys.
Ian England said, Tom, I had my first accident on an off-road vehicle this last weekend. Rolled down a hill on a four-wheeler, got up, started that girl up, and went right back up. I'm a little fucking purple now.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
It rolled over you?
It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't happened to me because I'm not getting on one of those fucking things.
Yeah. It's happened to me. It mostly happened to me when I was a kid. Riding those things around in Mississippi. Nearly killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be 14 years old fucking riding those things fucking out at my buddy David Key's grandfather's place. He had a pond, a couple of catfish ponds. It was probably about 10, 15 acres.
And a cement pond?
Open fields. No, they were just regular catfish ponds.
It was a cement pond.
And we'd fucking sneak beer down there and get drunk and ride those fucking four-wheelers and race them and shit, wreck them. But you were on dirt, so, you know, like I said, you just
This is why dudes don't live as long as women.
Crazy
and
shit.
this is why the Darwin Awards books are 99% dudes.
Yeah. We were fucking crazy.
Because we just don't do shit like that. No, I'm not saying that. Like, women do stupid shit too, but not to the same degree. Because you kind of think about it, it's like, well, that could go horribly wrong. I immediately think of like the million ways that it could go horribly wrong, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Zach says, have any of you ever eaten fried catfish.
Yeah.
Is that not a southern food? Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I want to try it. I love seafood.
Grew up with it.
Any kind of fried fish is delicious. I'll eat pretty much anything that came out of the ocean, within reason. Fried catfish is really good.
Yeah, it's very light, very flaky, and it's a little bit oily. The closest fish to it would be eel. It's kind of like eel.
Yeah. It's very fishy flavored, so you do kind of have to. I kind of feel like you have to really like seafood to like catfish, maybe.
I don't think it's fishy flavored.
Well, it's not as mild as maybe some other fish like cod or something, is what I meant.
I don't know how you cooked it, but no, for us it was about like that. But it's a lot lighter and a lot flakier than cod, more like eel. It does have a flavor, but it doesn't taste like other fish. It tastes more like eel.
Yeah.
Which that's not a bad thing. Eel tastes good too.
I don't know if I've ever had eel.
Most fishiest fishy fucking. I can't even fucking eat it as salmon.
I love salmon.
Can't stand it.
Canned
salmon. Yeah, maybe smoked salmon. I've had lox and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking.
I've eaten canned salmon. It is fishy. It is fishy tasting, but I like it though. I always thought mackerel was more fishy.
Yeah.
But I don't eat a lot of that. But I love salmon. I could eat salmon all day long.
Yeah.
It is very oily. Yeah, Zach said salmon is delicious. Yeah, I'll eat pretty much any kind of seafood. You know, I really, really like seafood a lot. Even when we were at Disney and shit, they had like the one restaurant we ate at on Tuesday was in the park, and what was the fucking name of it? Skipper Canteen. I think it's in Adventureland. And I got a really nice. It was like this big slab of redfish, like pan-seared. And it was on, like, all of these fresh vegetables, like, in a ginger broth, and it was really, really good.
Yeah. But catfish is a very primitive fish. It's not like other fish that you've eaten. It doesn't even have scales. It's just got skin. And it's got poison barbs in its fins, and it's real primitive. I actually caught catfish one time as a kid and cleaned them on the bank and threw pretty much everything back in the pond, so the turtles would eat it, because those things were fucking filled with fucking snapping turtles. Came back the next day to fish again, and noticed that I forgot to throw one of the heads in. It was still laying up there on the bank, and it was still breathing. That's how primitive they were.
Yeah.
That thing was still. The head was still alive, and it had been up there for...
That's a little unsettling.
Yeah, it had been up there for at least 18 hours. And I just threw it in the water.
Also, I mean, remember when we used to watch River Monsters all the time, and, like, Jeremy Wade catches some monster fucking catfish sometimes. Yeah. Like, big enough that they've killed people.
Yeah.
Like, their mouths were so big that they could actually probably swallow you. That's how big those fucking things are.
You gotta skin them. You, before you cut the heads off, you gotta hang them up on the side of a tree. Usually with, like, I'm trying to remember what we used. It was just a nylon rope. You go through the mouth and the gills, and you tie a nylon rope around a tree where there's a limb, like a pine tree, and then another rope you tie around it there and have a hook, so he'll hang there on a tree. And you slice him around the head, and then slice the skin straight down the belly. You just cut the skin around the head and straight down the belly, underside of it, and then you take a pair of pliers and just grab the skin and pull the skin off as hard. And you pull the skin off while he's still alive. They don't give a shit though. They'll still be.
They might give a little bit of a shit.
The guts will be gone. The guts will be out already. And
he's just like, oh, what's happening to me?
Yeah, and the head is still breathing, and you're skinning it.
That's so messed up.
And then you cut the head off, and then throw it down there, and put the next one on there, and then you're throwing them in a cooler. Because if you don't get that skin off there, it'll never really come off. When you're cooking it, it'll just be stuck on there. And I think maybe that's why you said it tastes real fishy, because we would skin them.
Yeah.
And I only had it. It only tasted light and flaky. Maybe if you cook it with the skin on it, maybe it's stronger. I don't know. But
down here, sometimes in some restaurants, you can get like catfish nuggets.
Yeah.
Which I like those. But
then there's another kind of catfish called a mud cat. we'd get those, we would throw them away. As soon as you caught it, you threw it back, which kind of sucked because after a while they'd start taking over the fucking pond. So then you'd make new rules like now if you get a mud cat, fucking throw it on a bank and kill it. Try to get rid of them. It's like a catfish, but it's shorter, fatter, and they taste like mud. Now I guess because they're eating mud, they might be sucking stuff out of the silt in the bottom. They're bottom feeders.
Well, that's
terrible.
That's what they were. That's what they've been talking about, like all these comments. Danny Rolling said Mississippi has the best catfish farm restaurants, in my opinion. Ian England said fried catfish is the shit. I love a very spicy batter on it. Yeah, I love fried catfish, honestly.
Yeah, in Mississippi, our catfish, you stocked them. You built your own pond, and they had companies that would come and stock your pond for you. It was cheap. And then you'd have a couple years worth of fucking food out there. And maybe every 2 years you'd have to come back and restock it because your chances are you're going to be catching them faster than they were born. And then you had snapping turtles were eating the little ones. So there's an attrition rate in there. So all those farm raised catfish you're talking about, real bigger southern families owned their own catfish farms on their land. You could have that thing stocked for fucking $600, and you know, several years worth of fucking free catfish. You know, you can't beat it. We used to stock it with Russian boar too, which is a wild pig mixed with domestic pig. It was a Russian wild pig mixed with a domestic pig. We called it Russian boar, and it had hair on it and tusks, but it was a half domestic pig. We'd let those go. And then we usually hunt them out in about 2 years. They just couldn't keep up with the demand. And they'd walk off your property too. So you had to keep restocking them.
Yeah, Camp Guy said, I think Mississippi has the largest catfish agricultural industry in the country, but there may be another state with more. And then Camp Guy also says, I've heard those giant catfish are not as good to eat. And in England said giant ones start tasting muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tammy said, my mom used to nail their heads to an old cutting board and skin them that way.
Skin them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then chances are they'd pull a head off that nail and it would still be fucking breathing.
Like
They're fucking creepy. They're like a robot.
Very unsettling.
Yeah.
Zach said, I'd kill for there to be a proper Cajun food restaurant around here. Mom's from Louisiana, so that's what I grew up eating, jambalaya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catfish days, you made hush puppies and cooked it in the same grease you fried the fish in.
Yeah.
Fucking catfish with hush puppies and ketchup. That, man.
Now I kind of want that.
Yeah, it's real good.
Wonder if Chantel's is still down there. It's like still open. They don't have catfish though.
They don't have catfish.
No, they don't. What did we usually get there, like after mannequins?
I forgot.
Because they didn't have the full menu.
The chicken and waffles.
Yeah, we'd get chicken and waffles usually.
Shrimp and grits.
Yeah, but they don't have shrimp and grits at night, or they didn't used to. Like we ate there a couple times during the day, and they had it during the day. Because their shrimp and grits is awesome.
Thing is, you go to Chantel's at night, man. You got the girls working, and those girls are fucking terrible service.
They're very slow.
Terrible.
Because it's like, so, they're open till 4 a.m, and they're just like, man, we don't want to fucking deal with it.
They don't really want to work. Go in the day when Chantel's there, and she keeps them in line.
Yeah. Camp Guy said you use the nastiest bait to fish for catfish: chicken livers or rotten dough.
Actually, what we would do is we would go to Piggly Wiggly, all right, and get some of the old bread.
Yeah.
They'd have old bread for sale over there in the back. We would throw like 3 loaves of bread into the pond every couple of days. They'd eat that, and that would stir them up because it was feeding time. And then we would just take a treble hook, the 3 barbed hook, and mash a bunch of Velveeta cheese on it and throw that in. And we would do it on a cane pole. You could be in a boat because you had little plastic boats. We had these little plastic boats. Go out there with a cane pole and just drop the fucking bait in the water, and there's an instant bite. Boom! You'd pull him out and just keep going. So the bait we used a lot of time was Velveeta cheese. And just like smash it on the... And then when you got desperate, you'd run out of Velveeta cheese, just put the hook in. And a lot of times they'd bite just the hook.
Because, fish aren't
They're not that smart. Yeah. But if it had
Here,
cheese
what's this?
on
I'm going to put my mouth on it.
If you had cheese on it, it was an instant bite. Boom. After you stirred them up.
All species love cheese.
Yeah.
Well, Velveeta's not really cheese.
It's
but
not really cheese.
You know what I mean?
Whey.
It's whey protein.
But the fish know what it is.
Yeah. They're like, Velveeta. Yeah, Ian England said the rivers here in central Missouri are loaded with catfish.
Yeah.
Like I said, now I kind of want some catfish nuggets and some...
We've tried to figure out if we could eat snapping turtles. You can't eat them.
I mean...
Yeah.
I'm not...
They don't taste
I
good.
think I've eaten turtle one time in my whole entire life, and I just can't.
Had a whole pond of fucking snapping turtles, and we're trying to figure out if we could eat them, but it never worked out. They're not any good. We just killed them.
I saw one in the pond at my brother's resort.
Yeah.
Like on outside of on Disney property. I saw a little snapping turtle head poking out.
I'd be put
I was
on
like,
missions.
hey.
Some summers I'd be put on missions to go down and just fucking flush out entire ponds of like my dad's friends and dad's relatives. Fucking flush out all the fucking snapping turtles. So what had been done over the years, people would throw logs and big limbs up on the bank, and you got on the opposite bank, and all those turtles would get up on top of those logs. And you sat on the opposite side with a sandbag rest and a .22 long rifle, and sit there all day long shooting fucking turtles. Well, one time my dad had this fucking .22 250. Which is 308 neck down to 22. And he had a shit ton of Wildcat cartridges, so you had to make 22 250 using reloading dies. They were half 308 loaded dies and half 5.56 loading dies. And he must have had about 1,000 rounds of that. And he was just trying to get rid of it because 22 250 was out of fucking style. And they were going to rebarrel that fucking rifle to something else, to another caliber. Which was easy to do in Mississippi, as all the guys are there to know how to do it. And so he wanted me to shoot up all that 22 250, and I sat there fucking all day killing turtles with a 22 250, and it was a fucking sight to see. It's a little bitty 55 grain bullet moving at like fucking 3,900 feet a second. It's fucking screaming. Those barrels don't last long because it's so the heat is so intense and the pressure is so intense in that barrel that it burns all the rifling out of it. The fucking life of that barrel is like maybe 800 rounds. And I had 1,000 rounds of the shit. At that range, it was still accurate, though, but I burned that barrel out. And those 22 rounds would hit a turtle. The turtle was probably about, the size of a pancake. And it had a scope on it, bolt-action rifle. And it would hit that turtle, and it would turn that fucking turtle into a fucking pink mist. Ah, just an explosion of pink. And then you'd see fucking arms and legs and shell fragments skipping across the water like
That's fucked up.
And then you just wait a few seconds and another turtle jump up and take his place. Because they didn't know what was happening. They were just trying to get on top of get some sun, But you were there
look, I'm just trying to get some sun. I'm trying to warm my blood up, and all of a sudden...
They're eating all the baby fish, though. So then they're like cockroaches. You can't eat them. So you just have to extinguish them. I must have killed fucking 700 of them easily on that one day. Ranging from about the size of a pancake to like the size of a silver dollar. Because you could see them in the scope. That was a fucking slaughter that day. I also shot some crows. I remember that.
That's
saw
fucked
crows
up, Tom.
and shot them.
What did you shoot crows for?
Because, it was a farm, and there's kind of like, kill the crows. That's just kind of like the fucking one of the standing orders is that if you see a crow, just shoot the crows. They cause a lot of fucking trouble. There was a reason for it, but I forgot what it was.
Camp Guy said, I saw an amazing fish and chips. The dude coated and dropped the fish into the fryer, waited about 30 seconds, and then he poured more of the coating on top of the fish while it was cooking.
Huh.
Said it had a giant crispy breading mohawk attached to the fried fish fillet. I think the channel is called Not Another Cooking Channel.
Yeah.
Man, fish and chips is one of the world's
Yeah.
greatest pleasures.
Yeah.
I really love fish and chips.
Yeah,
that sounds
British
really
invention,
good,
I believe.
Yeah. Like I said, when we were at Epcot and we were in the British Pavilion, because of course my brother had to get beer because he drank the whole time. But they had like a big restaurant there that has like fish and chips, and I was really tempted. But I was like, man, we're gonna eat a big dinner later, so I better not.
That British style.
But it smelled so good.
British style fish and chips. We eat that in Mississippi, in the South. They eat that. Yeah, we like it. The vinegar and everything.
Yeah, similar. It is similar.
But the southern version of it is catfish. Catfish and brim or bluegill.
Yeah.
Which is just a little white fish. It's like a discus type fish.
Man, we used to catch brim all the time.
Yeah, catching brim
when I was a kid.
Bluegill. Fill the boat with them.
Zach says, did I mention I have a meeting set up with a rabbi? So you are really going to do that shit? You're really going to... Okay.
What's he going to do? He's going to become Jewish?
Yeah, he's going to convert.
Yeah, but he's going to convert to Judaism so he can get dick. Ain't that some shit?
Well, hey.
Ain't that some shit? You gays are fucking amazing.
At least he's got a reason. That's a pretty good reason.
Okay.
I'm not converting to shit for shit. I'm just saying that right now.
There was a dude we used to know at the club.
No dick is good enough for me to convert to any religion. Sorry.
There was this dude we knew from the club, man. He looked just like Brad Pitt for a while. He called himself Brad Spit. He was like the ghetto version of Brad Pitt. And he converted to Islam for a while because he liked Arabic.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That didn't work out. Those dudes drove him out of there.
Like I said, you'd be hard pressed to get me to convert to anything like that. I don't care how good the dick is. I'm not converting to anything. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that religion thing. Sorry. DVD
37. So
I know. Well, I was going to tell you. There was a question for you, and I was going to give it to you, and then I was going to go to the bathroom. It says, Tom, the Navy and Army are announcing that they will test for steroids in special forces.
Yeah.
What do you think? How many will get popped? Okay, I got to.
If it was a good, if they're any good, all of them. No, the military, all the military branches are not what they were. Not during a time that I was in. I was in a time when the military was the U.S. Army was just the fucking best it had ever been, which is for the first Gulf War. That was the only time really in American history where we had definitive fucking military supremacy over all other countries in the United States. And people today in the United States are under this, and especially up in Washington, D.C., are under a delusion that we still have that supremacy. We don't. Right now, world-class army of the world is the Russian army. They're the baddest land army probably to have ever fucking existed. They destroyed the Ukraine army 3 times over, but they haven't told you that. The only guys that are there are a bunch of old men and probably young boys. Maybe they've stooped that low, and they're not trained, and they're just sitting there, encauldronated, while the fucking Russians are just fucking hitting with artillery strikes, and they're using psychological operations on them, giving them instructions on how to surrender. They're surrendering en masse. Russia won that war almost a year ago. As soon as they got them enculturated into the Donbass, that was it. And most of the U.S. military right now is obsolete. It's just that you don't know it yet. Things like aircraft carriers, jets, and tanks, and all that fucking expensive garbage is only good against third world countries that can't fight back because they don't have a response to that. But any country that has hypersonic weapons and fucking satellite technology, they're going to beat us resoundly. And there's no way to fight Russia because everything has to be shipped over to Europe. And their fucking submarine fleet and those fucking hypersonic missiles that they have will fucking send every fucking ship to the bottom. So there's no way to get on the European continent. And we don't, for us, hypersonics are 15 years away. It'll never happen. So it doesn't matter how good our military is or how bad it is, because they're only really going to use it against third world countries. And those days are running out, man. Fucking Africa and the Middle East, they're fucking sick of us. They've joined BRICS. And Russia and China are with BRICS. They'll defend them. So the days of the American Empire are over. Thank God. Thank God.
Ian England said, you need somebody who grew up eating snapping turtles because my buddy's dad makes them taste real good.
Yeah, I guess so. There must be a secret to it. We could never get them to taste good. So
I mean, I kind of feel like with most things, there's a secret to making it taste. Well, maybe not with everything, but you know what I mean. Danny Rowling said, I'd rather crab cakes and chips. Well, shit, that's good too. I love crab cakes also. Yeah, he says all you can eat crab cakes at a buffet would be awesome. I agree. Except it would probably be really dangerous for me because I would just eat that. Just eat all of those. Zach says, legit though, I just really like the people and the culture is interesting. Have some friends who are Jewish, some of the best friends I've ever had. Yeah, we're just fucking with you. We're just fucking with you. But yeah, I get it. Okay. Danny Rowling says, I'll wait till he comes back. But the 1989 Andrew Davis, the film The Package, starring Gene Hackman as an army ranger. I've never heard of that, actually. 1989. Huh. We'll have to look that up, because I don't think I've ever heard of that movie. Even though I was watching a lot of movies in 1989 and 1990. So you'd think I would have seen it, but no. Man, now I want crab cakes. And then now I'm trying to remember, like, did we eat today? Yeah, I guess we did. What did we eat today? I can't remember. Oh, we had a burger at about 11:30 or noon. And that's it. Oh, we haven't eaten since then. Okay. No wonder I'm getting hungry. That's probably what it is. But yeah, so we'll just probably have to go out without eating, and then we'll eat when we get back. We'll probably stop at Circle K on the way home and get sandwiches and stuff. Because I was sitting there thinking...
I'm fucking hungry, man. I might stop on the way out.
Well, because I was just thinking, it's like, yeah, we had a burger, but that was like
a long time
9 hours ago. We we forget. I mean...
Well, we're on calorie restriction.
That too.
But we have to leave here around 9, right?
Like 9, yeah. We still got like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we actually should probably go now, though. Because maybe we should stop and get something to eat on the way over there.
Well, I can't eat anything because I have a corset on, so I'll probably have to get some on the way home.
Okay. Even something small through McDonald's?
We don't pass a McDonald's, do we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we do on the way to Sanford. I forgot we were going to...
Yeah, going to Sanford.
I don't know. Maybe I could eat some...
Or we could stop at fucking Circle K and just get a sandwich and eat it on a run.
Although, like I said, I don't...
Or I can make a sandwich here, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll think of something. Don't make me think of something like while I'm sitting here. Right. Danny Rowling said, Tom, you probably like the 1989 Andrew B. Davis film called The Package, starring Gene Hackman as an army ranger who stumbles onto an assassination attempt on the Russian president to start a war. It's a great film.
Yeah.
Like I said, I never heard of that, so maybe we should try to look that up.
I think I have heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember that.
Said it's also a Christmas film.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. So. Just, you guys are going to see this shit unfold. I don't know how much you're into geopolitics and everything, but don't believe a fucking single word you hear off of any corporate news outlet. That's all CIA propaganda. All that shit got encodified during that last war where they did that Patriot Act. They made it legal for the CIA to propagandize the American public. So they're just sitting up there lying through their fucking teeth. About what's happening now. And it's all grift. They're just trying to get free money for the military-industrial fucking complex, make contracts and shit. The danger is that some of these dudes that are in Washington, D.C. are so stupid, and they're fucking stupid. They're badly educated. They don't know anything about fucking history. They know nothing about Russian culture or the Russian history. They think they can beat Russia on Russian soil. They're fucking crazy. They will never beat them. I don't think we could have beat them when we were strong, even back in the 80s, early 90s. Even before the Soviet Union collapsed, they probably would have fucked us up pretty bad. Because they're on that continent. They don't have to ship anything there. They can sit right there and make tanks all fucking day long. That's how they fucking whipped ass on fucking Russia. Excuse me. That's how they whipped ass on fucking Germany. And France. And England. They fucked England up too. I think that was 1700s, 1600s, the English one. Crimean War, I think is what it was called. And then Napoleon, they fucked his ass up. They just got home advantage. and they have fucking a shit ton of fucking natural resources, and they'll just go to slave labor. They don't need money. Russians are patriotic. They'll do just like they did with the Germans, is that they'll just sit there on a fucking concrete slab making tanks in the middle of fucking snow. Not a dime. Maybe they give them a fucking piece of bread. Russians are fucking strong-willed. They're tough. I know. I was friends with one of them, ex-Russian infantry guy named Vadim Konyev, and I showed him to Jen, man. He was a goth guy. Fucking after the fall, fucking we were hanging out in fucking Bosnia. Jen was like, "Oh, he's cute. Yeah, he looked like a fucking Russian Antonio Banderas. Fucking hair down to his waist. Had a whole harem of strippers living up in his house. He ran a damn little computer store. Told me all about the Russian army. It was like ours, really, but he watched it all fall apart. It must have been fucking astounding to just see a civilization just vanish. Like vaporware, just fucking overnight. But they no longer believed in it.
Yeah, probably so.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
so... Well, they had been lying to him for so long. Everybody knew everybody was lying. So... And there was nothing but fake news, and the Soviet Union had lost confidence, and the people just said, "Fuck this, I'm not going to do this anymore." And it just vanished. But millions of people died. Millions. Starvation, suicide, alcoholism. Girls ran off to foreign countries to become prostitutes and never seen again. Just all kinds of shit. It was a cataclysm for them. And they're traumatized, man. The Russians have been traumatized over and over again, going all the way back to fucking Ivan the Terrible, or Ivan the Great. I think he was great, too. He was terrible and great. They're badasses. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so are you ready to wrap it up? Because you said you wanted to wrap it up. Okay. Yeah. So I was waiting for you to stop talking.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go out this evening. So we have to sign off. We'll be back again on Monday doing a movie review. I don't know what movie it's going to be because we haven't watched it yet. Maybe we'll look up that Gene Hackman one and see if we can find that somewhere and watch that if we remember. But yeah, so hopefully you guys can join us again on Monday. Please have a good and safe weekend, you guys. And we will see you again on Monday.